Hi guys, this is Kalyan Karmakar here, and I thought that I'm going to try a new format for a project which I've been working on since the lockdown started, which I call Foodocracy India, and I hope you've been following it both on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on the blog. So I'm just seeing how it works out here. So far, I have been doing written text pieces on the blog and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and sharing that. But I thought I'll do it through a live this time. So for those who are new to it or who don't know what Foodocracy India is all about, well, it's actually like okay. So it's a project which I've been sort of conceptualizing for over a year, and as you probably know that I'm really fond of all the small eateries, street food joints, family-run places, and places like that, which are across the country, and even modern cafes now. And to me, these are the places which really represent what everyday food is all about. And I thought that they don't really get the recognition which they deserve, given that these are the places where India really eats. And that's why I thought that we should work on on creating a platform to bring their stories alive. I was chatting with some friends. In fact, Samir Malkani of FBI had been a big sounding board over the year, and we are working out different ways in terms of how to do it, or what format can we tie up with anyone. Should we involve people? Should we crowdsource? Should we which cities? And you know, when you plan something for long, it often goes into the back burner, and that's what happened in this case. And one got busy with other stuff, and then the lockdown happened, and and the first few days one was busy getting used to the new way of life, and then you know I saw this sense of and a very understandable sense of despondency which was all around. Like, people are feeling lost, people are feeling demotivated, people are feeling anxious, and naturally so, because it's not a easy time right now, the COVID pandemic. But the important thing is that even through tough times, to keep one's spirits up, and keep that sense of challenge ahead, keep one's life force ahead. So I was wondering, what could one do? And that's when I thought that maybe this is the time to bring out the Foodocracy India series into play, and that's what I did. And you know, while one had tried various things earlier, planned various things earlier, I came back to doing things which I've always done, which is just get back to my laptop and type. And so it happened. The first post was in fact on Khane Khas, when we'd ordered in from here, and then the first restaurant to series feature in Foodocracy India was Candies Cafe, and I always start anything which I do with Candies, including my book when I'd written it over there, and that's the way it happened, and my intention at that point was to write a post every day, and I did for the first few days. Then you know, one got busy. There were times when physically one couldn't do it. Maybe like one had a bit of back pain, or we were just too hungry for dinner or something like that. But I've tried to keep at it consistently. But then I suddenly thought that why don't I try a live and make it sort of like a audiovisual podcast for you, and 10 to 15 minutes segments, and maybe a couple of minutes for questions or observations at the end. And this is how you can be a part of Foodocracy India. So Foodocracy, the spelling you'll see in the my opening comment is food o cracy, so like democracy. So because this is where India eats. So use the hashtag Foodocracy India and talk about your favorite restaurants, your favorite eateries, street food joints, whichever medium you're comfortable with, whether Instagram, Twitter, blog, Facebook, Snapchat, whichever. If you want to do videos like this, if you want to just share photographs, write about it, just go ahead and do. And even as I keep learning, I'm going to try it. So for example, I'm going to try this live today, and I've kept my laptop here to show you some pictures, and I've just realized that on the live I could have saved some pictures and showed you the pictures, but maybe next time. And I'm going to keep it trim, so like I said, 10 to 15 minutes, and this time was longer because I was introducing the concept to you. But now let me get straight into the restaurant which I want to talk about. And this is from Mumbai, the city which has been my home for the last 20 years. And the series right now has been all about Mumbai. I've been wanting to go to Calcutta and cover places there and so on. But I thought that let me talk about Mumbai for a while. And the last restaurant which I featured in Foodocracy India, and please again I'm telling you that share your options as well, your stories as well, and even if I've written about a place, write about it. Well, the last story which I shared in Foodocracy India a couple of days back was a Maharashtrian vegetarian place in Girgaon, South Mumbai, called Vinay Health Home, and I'm going to come back again to another Maharashtrian place today, and this is in Dadar in central Mumbai, and the place is called Prakash. In fact, I'll give the formal name in the description, and it's Prakash Shakahari Upahar Kendra, which means vegetarian snack center. And Prakash also has a branch in Dadar in Girgaon, which Kunal Vijaykar was telling me about. He wasn't too sure if the two are related, but they could be. I think the families which run the two are related. The one at Dadar is what I'm acquainted with, and it's a fairly traditional joint, been there for quite a few decades, and it's a place where people go for vegetarian snacks, the Upahar Griha, and a lot of Maharashtrians have childhood memories associated with the place. And what they tell you about Prakash is that it's a fairly old school place. And what anyone will tell you, the regulars, is that don't go there and ask for a misal pav, because the waiters will firmly tell you, and maybe even sternly, that we don't serve misal pav because misal is supposed to be had with roti, not traditionally with pav. So what is misal? Misal is a mixture. It's a very common dish in Maharashtra, made primarily usually with pulses and lentils and mixes, but there are also places like in Pune where there are vegetables which are put there and so on, and the spicing could differ from place to place, and on top you put a crunchy element like a namkeen or farsan, like they call it here, and that's what distinguishes, from my understanding, I'm Bengali, a misal from a usal. And in Mumbai, the combination of misal and pav is very famous, and I've had it in office canteens. I like the one at Aswad and Vinay Health Home and so on. But pav, the bread which is so linked with Mumbai today, was not traditionally a part of the Maharashtrian food heritage, as far as I understand, the Hindu food heritage. And there's a reason for that, because the pav was introduced by the Portuguese, and the initial bakers and bakeries were run by Goans and Muslims, and there was, in the Goan bakeries, toddy was used to ferment the dough, and therefore in Hindu families they were told not to have the pav from there because it's made by people from different communities. So Kunal tells me that when they would go out and as friends in college and school and all, outside they would do it, but perhaps not at home. So traditionally my understanding is that the pav was had with roti or bhakri. The batata vada was had by itself. So there was no misal pav, there was no vada pav, but it's in the 60s that this combination of vada pav became popular, and then there was misal pav, and then pav bhaji. But coming back to Prakash, it's probably the only place in Mumbai which has decided to stand against the tide and does not serve the misal with pav, so you get the misal by itself. And they say that they scold you, like I said earlier. But I must say that I have never been scolded by the waiters in Prakash. And traditional Maharashtrian restaurants are supposed to be like that. There was a place called Anand Ashram which is shut down in Girgaon, and the waiters were not supposed to be really friendly. But that's more Goan. And then there's Chitle Bandhu, the shop in Pune. Again, they were not supposed to be really friendly in terms of customer service, because that's how the Maharashtrian community is. It's like, you can be assured that the restaurant kitchen will be very clean, but don't expect any effusive customer service. Well, the first time when I went to Prakash in Dadar, I'd actually gone with a reader of mine from Facebook on the blog, who was vegetarian, and she wanted me to try the food there, and we tried the misal, of course. And the first thing that struck me was about the misal was that it was very different to what I'd had in my office canteen in IMRB, or this place at Padel I used to go to, and have the misal over there, because those are spicy, those are oily, those are chatpata. The one at Prakash, which was made with sprouts and mung beans, was a very, like, as if someone's grandmom had cooked it, very subtly spiced and yet very wholesome, very nourishing, and they gave the farsan on top. So I had it with that. It was very delicious. I also tried the thali peat, and like in most restaurants, they do the shallow fried version of this Maharashtrian pancake, which traditionally in homes, author Sai Karane will tell you that it's meant to be toasted on a tawa, but restaurants slightly shallow fried. I like the thali peat at Aswad better, which is another restaurant in Dadar. But the sabudana vada is so good at Prakash as well. Now Prakash had a fairly larger complex and in Dadar, and which is where I've been quite a few times, often taking people on my finely chalked food walks. And they say that they are not customer friendly. Well, let me tell you that we would go in with a big group of people, like about anything between, there would be 8 to 12 of us, and on Saturday afternoons or before lunch and busy hours, and places like Prakash are not used to this sort of stuff or food walks and all that. And yet even if there were 8-10 of us and we'd go in, sometimes in the evening the place is packed, and if we'd request the waiters or the manager sitting at the counter and say, can you please find us place, it's okay if we are not in the same table, and we'll wait patiently. We were very polite with them, and let me say, they were always very polite and very helpful, and whoever I've taken there has really enjoyed it. Prakash now is at a much smaller place in Dadar, sort of diagonally opposite the Shiv Sena Bhavan. That's because the building where it was, as is the Aswad building close by, has gone in for redevelopment. So they've all gone to temporary premises, and where Prakash stands now on Gokhale Road is a very tiny place. It's very easy to miss nowadays because of the metro construction, but I doggedly try to make my way and go there, as do the regulars of Prakash. When I go there, I've never seen it to be empty. And here's a funny story. There's my doctor friend who's a diabetologist, Dr. Manisha Talim, and her chamber is close by. So she now sort of looks at me as well and treats me. So I go to her, show her my blood reports, cholesterol, blood sugar, everything. And then she'll tell me no potato, no sugar, no oil, no fried stuff. And I'll listen to everything, get very frazzled, go to Prakash. And what will I have? I'll have the poha, I'll have the puri bhaji over there. And last time I had the sabudana vada. And then I'll be apologetically send pictures to Manisha and say, I'm really sorry. I heard everything you said, but this is what I had. And here's the thing about Manisha, that she is strict and all of that, but she's also a food blogger, and she loves food, and she's half Bengali, half Maharashtrian. But I think the Maharashtrian side is where she has a soft corner for, and therefore she sort of giggles and indulges me when I say that. But it's not that I always go to Prakash, and when I go, I try to make a point of it. Now, what I've done is it's a bit silly, but I kept my laptop here to show you what pictures which I meant, but I've just figured out that you can do it by saving pictures on the phone, and I'm going to do it. I keep learning these tricks by myself and then do it. So this is a picture which I'd taken when I went to Prakash on December 2019. No, not that's me. Let me flip the phone around. Yeah, there you go. So this is from my Facebook page, and this is my guilty pleasure at Prakash, the puri bhaji. So this is the Maharashtrian version of the puri. So they make it with whole wheat, deep fried of course. And this is the bhaji. This is the suka bhaji. So it's a batata or potato bhaji. They also do a gila bhaji with curry, but with gravy. But the suka bhaji is what I really, really like. And with the puris, and they put in a lot of kothmeer or coriander leaves on that, and lime. And this is how you give it. So if you see, the plating is very basic. The table is blue. There's the poha, which is nice and nourishing. Some chaha or tea. I'm not much of a tea drinker, but when I go to Prakash or places like this and I have Maharashtrian snacks, I do have a tea with it. And I once asked people on Twitter about why places in Mumbai, the older places, have these blue Sanmaika tables. And I was told that apparently it was easier to clean, and therefore they came up with the blue tables. But here's the advantage of the blue table. I must tell you that they make for a very nice Instagrammable background. Now, if you go to Prakash, it's not that if you look around the people there, you won't see too many people who are really into Instagram. It's like a very traditional place Most of the clientele is middle-aged to elderly whenever I've gone there, and traditional Maharashtrian folks. But I go there, and it's the sort of place where you share tables, and there's a sense of calm and peace when you go there, whether it's the customers, whether it's the waiters, and the the cash counter people. No one is strict, no one is rude, no one is abrasive. Maybe they were once upon a time, but the place is some 30, 40 years old. The waiters look like they've been there for that long. They're probably in their 60s and 70s. So I think they've become genial grandpas like that. And what I do is I might be sitting there and with three, four strangers with me, and I'll tell the waiter to get everything together, the poha, the puri bhaji and stuff. And they do. And I don't need to tell them that I want to do a Instagram flat lay, but they get everything together. So I place them on the table, and I stand up, and I click a picture like this. And the thing is that it's not a hipster place. So at the age of 45, or am I 46 now? 74. Yeah, I'm 46 now. So at the age of 46, I'm the most hipster person over there, standing up, taking an Instagram picture. And there's a Maharashtrian aunt in front of me, Moshi, two mamas to my left and stuff. And they'll probably come back from the bank they work in, or the sari shop with their salesman, or maybe they'd come to do some work at the Sena Bhavan or whatever. Anything but Instagram people. And they're completely nonplussed by my getting up and standing there. I was trying to find the picture of the sabudana with a vada which I had the last time, which I really liked. It's probably one of the best which I've had in Mumbai. Sabudana is sago beans, and the varas are like croquets which they make with it. And it's like not too dense, very well flavored. Though when I went to Nashik, I saw that the sabudana vada was flat. So that's the thing on Maharashtrian food. There's so much variety wherever you go. And let me show you a picture of the sabudana vada. Okay, this is again me. Remember I was telling you about, no, not me, a picture by me from my Facebook page. So here I was, and I'd gone, and this is my page, and I'd gone to visit with Manisha, my doctor, and then ordered the puri, the bhaji, the piyush, which is a very sweetened lassi drink. And there was this gentleman opposite me. You can make out from his shirt and belly that he's hardly a hipster. And he was having poha as well. And I used the frame to get a nice Instagram-worthy picture. And he kept eating without really considering to be too rude or something like that. Okay, I found some sabudana pictures on Facebook. Mine would be there somewhere, but I just need to find them. But there's a nice one. Let me show you. Okay, this is Aswad actually. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, so this is the old Prakash, the original Prakash, and see how densely packed it is, and you can see the waiting staff over there, and even now they wear these sort of topis or caps, which are so traditional. Thanks, Imran. I'm not responding to comments now simply because I'm doing it as a podcast. And as you can see, you can see a lot of foreigners sitting here. Well, they were part of my food walk, and we just went in, and I said, and we are all seated in different tables. And this is the old Prakash, and the pictures I'm showing you from is the new Prakash or the temporary Prakash, and it's like I said, it's not easy to find, but do make an effort. Yeah, and I saw a picture, nice picture of the. So this is my friend Riya Mehta Dalal, wife of Kurush Dalal. So this is sabudana vada, which I like. Kothambir vadi per se I'm not very fond of, but it's a nice dish. Even they do it well in Aswad, but this is the one at Aswad at Prakash is really the bomb. This from Riya's page. Next time I'll be a bit more meticulous and probably save them for you. And yeah. So I saw someone do a cross section. So. Of the sabudana vada, and this is my friend Diganta Chakravarti. I don't know if he's latched on, but this is how the missile looks at Prakash. And see here, no pav anywhere. Huh? So don't ask them for pav; they'll get very upset, or so they say. So there's a mixture. So it's got the farsan on the top. Then they've got peanuts. They've got a bit of potato pulses. There's the gravy in that, finely chopped onions, um, coriander, lime juice, all of that, which will be added and served to you. So I'm going to end this broadcast now, and I'd promised 10 to 15 minutes, but this is the first one I'm doing it. And remember that there was also a bit of introduction in the beginning. But okay, Venkat asked that had I had a chance to eat kosha. You mean kosha mangsha during the lockdown period? Yes, I did. I cooked it on the Bengali New Year. I posted pictures and videos as well. But anyway, so let me sum up. I was talking about the Prakash restaurant, the Maharashtrian vegetarian restaurant at Dadar, and it's part of my Foodocracy India series. Hashtag Foodocracy India is what you should use as well if you want to talk about your favorite eateries, independent joints, street food places. Tell us a bit about the place, what do you like over there, what sort of food to expect, what should one order, what is the vibe, and so on. So let me do that for Prakash. So Prakash is a fairly old Maharashtrian restaurant, and the one I'm talking of is at Dadar. It's a big part of the heritage of the area. It's opposite Sena Bhavan and near Shivaji Park. It's right now in a temporary location because of the building where it was has gone down for TDR. What you get over there are the Maharashtrian snacks. What's really popular over there is the misal, and no, you won't get it with the misal with the pav, because that's not how it was had traditionally, and Prakash is a traditional place. In fact, they say they get angry if you have it with ask for the pav, but I've never had that experience. And you know, so the misal is very good. The sabudana vara is lovely. Sai Kurane Khandekar, who's written the lovely book Pangat recently on Maharashtrian food. She told me about how on Sundays you get a vangit pohe, which is pohe with pieces of aubergines on it. And I once went there on a Sunday doing a food walk for a Australian couple or American couple, and we ordered that, and it was really lovely because you know what, it's a normal poha, but they put pieces of brinjal in it, and the flavor of the brinjal goes in. So you know, people who say that Indian food is too heavy, has no subtlety to it, Maharashtrian food has no subtlety to it, you have to go out there and explore, and you have to go out there and eat at all these sort of places where people go and eat. And let me finish by telling you about my favorite at Prakash, which is the puri bhaji, and the puri and the sukha bhaji. That is my Achilles heel. I go there, meet my doctor who's a diabetologist, and who looks after my cholesterol scores, sugar scores, tell me don't eat fried stuff, don't eat potato, everything. And then I go and have the puri bhaji, and I say, oops, but it's so good. It's so good, you know. It's probably my favorite puri bhaji in Mumbai. And my tip is to go for the sukha puri bhaji. I'll just look at a couple of comments before closing down. Lil Miss Foodie, Dhani, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And love for Baby Loaf. He's sleeping over there. Thanks, Deepa, for joining in. Shaumik, happy to bring back your Mumbai memories. Deepa saying that Prakash is iconic. It indeed is. I hope that we have Prakash's branch in Pune, says Sneha. Well, you have your own versions. There's Sri Krishna sweets, where you get a very nice misal, and where they put poha and potato bhaji in it. There's, of course, Damodar and stuff. Pinstagram is talking about the Vatana misal, which you get in Bombay. In Pune, they use matki. So matki are the sprouts. Vatana, from what I understand, are the white dried peas. And there's so many different types of misal. What I've had in Nasik is different, and Nasik, they claim, is the capital of misal. Pune is different. Dadar is different. Thane is different. So if you try to typecast and say that this is the authentic misal, you're sort of setting yourself up with a banana peel in front of you. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this new format of trying out Foodocracy India. If you like it, I'm going to do more of it. I'm going to figure out and put it up on my Instagram page so that you can see it later. If anyone knows how I can share this on Facebook, let me know. On YouTube, let me know. If I can save the videos, I'll try to do it and put it up. But it was glad and lovely talking to you. And I'm roasting some chicken inside, Indian style. I think it's sort of done. And I'm going to go and have that. I plan to come back to you and talk to you about more such places all across the country which do so lovely food. And I'm not going to get into rating or which is the misal place, or which is the best Maharashtrian place. what's the best place in the restaurant. I mean, let the magazines and all of that do that. It's for me, it's all about enjoying food. It's all about highlighting the stories of the faces behind the food. I must confess that I don't really know the people who run Prakash, which is fair enough. I mean, I'm sure they don't know me either. But a lot of their customers are regular loyalists over there, and let's celebrate food together. In the lockdown period, once lockdown ends, I mean, there is a place to be critical. There's a place to be dissect food and all that. But let this be a place to bring about happy stories of food and to encourage all of those who bring us such lovely food. So once again, hashtag Foodocracy India. Just use that. Use your social media channel and all of that, and just talk about your favorite eateries. This Kalyan Karmakar signing off, and on popular demand, since you'll want to see him more than you want to see me, let me see if I can show you Baby Loaf. Who's there? He is. There is Baby Loaf. He's napping. He's saying, "Let me sleep, Daddy." He's stretching. I think he's going to nap a bit more and come up later. But there's Baby Loaf saying bye to all of you and saying, "Daddy, please let me sleep." Okay, so this is Kalyan Karmakar signing off from home, which is also my study and working base in Mumbai. Ending this, the first sort of live stroke podcast version of Foodocracy India, and we were talking of Prakash and Dadar. And I'm going to talk, I've got so many more stories to tell you. I just had to make sure that I stay within 10 to 15 minutes. I talk more than that and I get very hungry. So thank you. Stay safe in the lockdown. Stay home. If you're going out, wear a mask, and let's hope that we can soon all go out and celebrate our favorite eateries again. Until then, let's celebrate their memories and our happy times over there. Thank you.